Good evening and welcome to Twitbox News. I'm George, and tonight we bring you a deeply troubling story that has shaken the city of Bristol to its core. In a shocking case of mistaken identity, 5 individuals, including 4 teenagers and a 45-year-old man, have been found guilty of the brutal murders of 2 boys, Mason Rist, aged 15, and Max Dixon, aged 16. The trial at Bristol Crown Court revealed harrowing details of how these young lives were senselessly taken in an act of revenge gone tragically wrong. On the night of January 27th, Mason and Max had no idea their ordinary plans would end in tragedy. The 2 friends, students at Oasis Academy John Williams, were on their way to grab pizza when they were ambushed by a group of armed attackers. The court heard how the group, driven by 45-year-old Anthony Snook in his Audi Q2, mistook the boys for individuals involved in an earlier attack on a house in the Hartcliffe area of the city. Driven by a desire for revenge, the attackers chased Mason and Max through the streets of Knoll West, armed with machetes. The attack lasted just 33 seconds, but the injuries inflicted were devastating. Both boys suffered what medical experts described as unsurvivable wounds, leading to their deaths in the early hours of January 28th. Mason and Max were more than just victims of this senseless violence. They were best friends, young boys full of life and potential. Mason's family described him as a quiet boy who would never hurt a fly, while Max's relatives called him a big character with a joyful outlook on life. Both families spoke of their unimaginable loss, likening it to losing a vital piece of their lives that can never be replaced. The trial revealed chilling details of the planning and execution of this attack. Riley Tolliver, 18, along with 3 boys aged 15, 16, and 17, carried out the assault, with Snook acting as their getaway driver. The prosecution described the group as being out for revenge, armed with deadly weapons and acting as a pack to hunt down those they believed responsible. As the jury delivered their guilty verdicts, the defendants showed no reaction. They sat impassively, staring ahead while families in the public gallery wept and expressed mixed emotions. Some relatives of the victims cheered and punched the air, relieved to see justice served, while others simply broke down in tears. Detective Superintendent Gary Haskins, the lead investigator, described the case as one of the most horrific he has ever encountered. He praised the families of Mason and Max for their strength and resilience throughout the trial, noting the tremendous pain they endured while hearing the details of the attack. He also emphasized that the victims had no connection to the earlier house attack, calling them to beautiful children just going about their lives. The detective also highlighted the weapons used in the crime, describing them as simply horrific and underscoring the need for stricter controls. These murders occurred just months before new laws banning zombie-style knives and machetes were introduced. At the victim's school, the sense of loss was palpable. On the first Monday following the tragedy, students and staff came together for a vigil, lighting walls in red for Mason and Liverpool Football Club and in blue for Max and Park Knoll Football Club. The community united in grief, demonstrating extraordinary strength and support for one another. The ripple effects of this tragedy extend far beyond the courtroom. It's a stark reminder of the devastating impact knife crime has on families, communities, and society as a whole. As sentencing approaches, scheduled for November 19th for Snook and December 16th for the other defendants, the families of Mason and Max hope to find some measure of closure. The investigation into this case was monumental, involving over 230 officers and staff who meticulously analyzed thousands of pieces of evidence, including CCTV footage and doorbell videos. One camera, chillingly located at Mason's own home, captured the attack as it unfolded. Even as the perpetrators await their sentences, the police continue their search for those responsible for the initial house attack in Hartcliffe, which set this tragic chain of events in motion. Our thoughts tonight are with the families and friends of Mason Rist and Max Dixon as they navigate their grief. These were two boys with bright futures ahead of them, lost to a senseless act of violence. This is Twitbox News. I'm George. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more news content videos. We appreciate your support. Thank you for joining us, and good night.